All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I wanted to update one of my older videos that I made, I think last year, on how to get a fairy and the best ones and the best skills, and I just want to talk about it. As you guys know, fairies in this game are actually useful. I do think they are, kind of on the pay-to-win side, and getting a good one is hard to get unless you're lucky, but if you are free to play and don't want to spend any money on it, I'm gonna try to show you how to do this all together. So first, to get a fairy, I believe you just do a quest line. I don't remember which one, but if you're new and don't have it, it's probably in the suggested tab, and then you'll find it somewhere around here. And basically it gives you a fairy to like play around with, but I'm gonna show you how to upgrade them, and we'll talk about all the skills. And if this is confusing as a beginner, I'll try to make it easier. So after you finish the initial quest line, you probably have some like tier 1 fairy or something, but let's say you're trying to upgrade to the best one, you're gonna have to get these things called Lila petals, and you get them from just grinding anywhere. You can also get them from gathering. Honestly, you get more of them from gathering, in my opinion, and you also can get them in the loyalty shop. Just go down here and then buy the petals as you want. So these are 2 per family, resets daily. So, or yeah, you just have another chance to get them daily, and they're 50 loyalties each. But anyway, what you're gonna want to do is talk to this person down in the Kamasilv Temple. If you have no idea, this is Heidel, and then you go right from Heidel to Kamasilv Temple. So you have some options to exchange, and you're gonna want to get the sealed fairy wings over here, and it's like 2 petals for that. And I'm gonna show you what it's like for a second, so check that out. And we're gonna open all of these, and I'll show you what they mean. So if you look at the list of items, a faint fairy is a tier 1, a glimmering is a tier 2, brilliant is tier 3, and radiant is tier 4. So if you look at the log, I'm just gonna show you, like, chances are most of the stuff you get are like tier 1s and tier 2s. I saw a brilliant. I saw 2 brilliants. And I'll show you. Ooh, a radiant. We got that tier 4. That's actually kind of lucky, to be honest. But I would say on average, from the data I've done over the years and what other people have told me, is that it's like 1 in maybe like 200-ish to get a tier 4, and then like 1 in 100 to get a tier 3. Or not 1 in 100, but like somewhere around that. But anyway, I think we just got lucky. We straight up got a tier 4, but it doesn't really matter. So first of all, if you have your fairy and have no idea what to do with it, I would always exchange these. Like, assuming you have your fairy at tier 4 already, it's better to get the mythical feathers, because these are for tier 9 horses, and or if you just sell them on the market, it's more silver. And then you could turn all these into the wines. I would only turn tier 1s into tier 2s into wine, because you could profit and stuff. But let's talk about the skills right now. So we got that. So let's say you have your fairy. It doesn't matter if it's tier 1, tier 2, 3, 4. The way you would do this is, if you have a tier 1, the way to level them and upgrade them would be through the sweet honey wine that we just got. You could buy it off the market. Let's see. Honey wine. Yeah, you can just buy this off the market. I do believe blue and green, like, random gear. So, like, just search up, like, green gear. Those also work for XP as well. And so what you would want to do is, when you hit your growth button, you feed the fairy the wine or the green-blue gear and get it to a certain level. So tier 1, I believe, goes to level 10 max, and then you would like grow it into a level 2, and then tier 2 is level 20, all the way up to a tier 4, which is 40, and then you upgrade that going forward. So yeah, let's talk about all the skills and everything. The way you would get a tier 4 is like literally what I just showed you, or you just keep growing it and then resetting it if you want to. So I kind of want to talk about how to do this without spending a lot of money on this, because I do think fairies are actually one of the most pay to win things in here, and it's not even to win. It's like a chance. It's kind of sus, actually. So let's talk about all the skills and which one I think are important. So let's just look at all of them. I believe each fairy has a certain tier they can go up to. So like, for example, if your fairy is tier 1, the highest you can get is a level 1 skill, and then tier 2 would be a level 2. So ideally you want to get a tier 4 fairy and our 5. I think it goes up to 4 and then it just levels up to 50 and then things go forward. But anyway, so there's a Tingling Breath, which is underwater breathing. If you don't life skill or literally don't go into the ocean at all, this is an irrelevant skill. You can go up from 100% to 125% at the highest level. So then next we have Fairies tier. This is basically like using those Aliens tiers where if you die, you don't take a penalty. And it's from 12 hours at tier 1 all the way down to 1 hour at tier 4. Like all these Aliens tiers that you get from just playing the game, it's kind of like that. I personally think that it's a nice one to have, but it's not really an important one because 1, we have a lot of Aliens tiers, and 2, you shouldn't be dying that often. And you don't need it in PvP because you don't lose anything for dying to PvP. And if you are consistently getting wrecked in PvE, maybe that's a you issue. I'm just gonna be honest. Maybe you shouldn't just be at the grind spot. This might be fine for beginners, but it's not really something I think is super important. But next we have Inexhaustible Well. So you auto use Purified Water and Star Anise Tea. So if you are in Valencia, you know how you get like heat stroke and hypothermia just by like a debuff in the desert during day or nighttime. This kind of auto prevents it. I think this is kind of an irrelevant skill because 1, in 2024, most people are not grinding in the desert, and 2, like just get the extra Star Anise Tea or Purified Water and then you can use it. So I don't think this is high on the priority list. I don't even think you should get it in general. If it were up to me, there are other skills to use. Morning Star is basically the light, you know, those Tannis lights that you get from the vendor. Let me show you what it actually looks like. So I actually like this one because when I'm grinding in dark areas or at nighttime, sometimes it's just really dark. So I think just having one to be able to toggle on and off infinitely is actually pretty nice. And also I don't have to remember to buy those Tannis things. Not that silver is an issue, but like it looks like this. Depending on the type of fairy you get, like there's different colors that we talked about earlier, right? So every fairy has a different color, different voice line and everything. So you're just gonna get the fairy. Every one is a different color. The aloof one is blue. And then there's that. So next we have Miraculous Cheer. This is probably the most important skill that everyone should get at the max level. So auto uses potions from 6 seconds down to 2 seconds. Now, all potions at the highest level are on a 2-second cooldown. So basically, if you get the highest level and you have an infinite potion or even regular potions, it will auto use potions on cooldown. And this is very important because it's just one less button you have to click. And so Continuous Care, this is actually the newest one they added a few years ago. And this one helps all of you who are, I guess, more in the mid to end game, who are using elixirs and buffs to grind. And so I'll show you what that is as well. So before we get into everything, these are the skills I have. And this the priority ones, in my opinion: Miraculous Cheer 5 for the Autopot, followed by Continuous Care, and then followed by Feathery Steps. These are the 3 important skills you want to get. And then the other 2 is just kind of like whatever you want. So I personally like the Morning Star just because, 1, it doesn't have any levels on it. It's literally just a light. And it also really just helps me at like nighttime when it's really dark. It is what it is. And then Tingling Breath, I just kind of happened to get it. I did Underwater Gathering before, and it was kind of nice then, but it also doesn't matter. So if you don't want Tingling Breath, just get like Fairies tier, and then that's also a nice one as well. But anyway, so the way you would get it is basically As your fairy levels up, every like 10 levels or something, let's say your fairy is tier 4, it would learn a new skill. And if you aren't spending, basically you kind of have to re-roll your fairy the same way you did, and then just keep hoping that you get like one of the priority skills that we talked about. And yeah, so in my opinion, from highest priority, Miraculous Cheer, Continuous Care, Feathery Steps, and then the leftover two are optionals and whatever you like. So yeah, we talked about how to get a fairy, the best skills, and let me show you how this actually works, just in case you are wondering. So the Miraculous Cheer, by default, it looks like this. Like when you first get it, it's going to be like that. And then if you have infinite potions, these work. And what I would do is put your infinite potions in your family inventory. That way you can set them on all of your characters the same way. And then if you don't have infinite potions, you just put your normal potions on just like the same things. And then one is for HP, one is for MP, and it works. The next thing we have is the Continuous Care. I personally have a lot to say about this one because not everyone needs Continuous Care 5. Now, let's look. If we looked at this one for a second, Continuous Care at each tier goes from 5 at tier 1, 8 at tier 2, 12 at tier 3, 16 and 20 for tier 4 and 5. Realistically, as a person who has been playing this game for a long time, I don't think most people will need more than 12 slots. And I'll show you what I have set up. But like for your average person, I understand that like, oh, you got to get 5 because it's the best one. But ask yourself really how many slots do you really need? And for myself, I don't often use 20. I had Continuous Care 4 for the longest time, and I thought that was like more than enough. So I think for your average person, like I guess 12 is a good one to have. And if you need more, go to 16 and then 20 if you need them. So I wanted to show you what it's like. When you have them over here, you're going to get this little icon over here that allows you to auto use items. You just click it, and it comes with 3 different presets. Like it doesn't have anything set by default, but it categorizes all your things by like foods, drafts and elixirs, and then perfumes, and then all your extra scrolls like loot scrolls and whatnot. Well, not the loot scrolls, but like all the XP scrolls. So this is the one I use for just your average frenzy grind. And this is what I think that most people will use if you are not grinding at a super high end area. So your average simple cron meal or exquisite, everyone should use that. And then your draft, like most people will be using a frenzy elixir as a good chance of whatever you're doing. It also has your elixirs, which are for higher end, or PvP, which is, I think more of this is on the PvP side as well. I have a video on all the elixirs I used. And then your perfumes. I personally think that perfumes are nice to have, but they are not really mandatory, especially if you're like at a lower end grind spot. Or I truly think that if you're a beginner all the way to mid level, you could get away with a bracing spirit perfume. These are cheaper, and like they just give you +5 to all monsters, whereas the perfume of courage is like 30 mil a pop, and you use them every 20 minutes. So that's kind of a lot, actually. You should be using them. It does increase your clear time. However, just keep in mind you're popping 3 of them an hour, and that's like almost 100 mil plus all your other buffs. So yeah, this is, I think, something for like the higher end game, and then for everyone else, a bracing spirit for +5. It's 5 mil each, and I think it's overall good. And then whatever XP scrolls you feel like you need. The next one I have is for life skilling, and honestly, I think this is actually a very easy one. So simple or seafood cron meal, your life skill food, probably put a green verdure draft, and then maybe like a flowing time elixir or something like that. Maybe a perfume of swiftness, and whatever life skills you need. So the third one is what I use mostly for higher end grinding. Simple cron meal. You can only use either elixirs or drafts. You can't use both of them. So this is the elixir rotation. Let me just run through these real quick. If you want to pause it to see what I am using, go for it. You switch this one out depending on where you're grinding. So like species damage. This one is for demi-humans, Thaumasylvians, air attack. And then this is the perfume. Once again, high-end stuff. It's kind of expensive. And then I, for the most part, pop these XP scrolls at the same time. So you see how that's kind of nice to have, right? You just click it and then it'll like start spinning. And that means it'll use it on cooldown. So it's not like over wasting them. Just keep in mind when you have to reset it if you are PvPing, and if you die, you just kind of have to turn it on again. So keep in mind there's that. After that, Feathery Steps is up to 125%. So basically, whatever your cap is, 125% of the cap, and then that's it. It's just nice to have. But yeah, hopefully that helped you. There's a lot of different ways to level up your fairy. Is it kind of expensive with silver? I think a little bit, but ultimately it's not a big deal these days. And also they kind of give out the fairy Lila petals so often, and like most people can get like a tier 3, tier 4 fairly easy. And I just wanted to make sure people know what were the priority skills and what you should get. So if anything, Miraculous Cheer 5, you should get that one high priority. And then everything else, like Continuous Care, you don't need 5, most likely. 3 or 4, I feel like is good enough. And then, yeah, that's about it. So with that said, I want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like on the video. If you are a new player, returning player, or looking to get better at this game, I do make a lot of videos and try to update a lot of my guide videos and everything. That way you guys can watch it and figure out what the current meta of a lot of stuff is. And yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up in the near future, so I'd love to see you come back. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.